The problem with clean sounding guitars is that they don't cut through the mix well. They don't cover a lot of ground, and they just most of the time they straight up sound like a broken acoustic. And what I see a lot among, especially among new guitarists, is that they have one of these two extremes. They either go full clean or full dirty, right? Full distortion. And it doesn't really change, like, it doesn't matter the context, it doesn't matter what they are doing in the band, like, what the song is about. It doesn't matter. They just go full clean or full dirty, right? But you need to be in the middle. I mean, not all the time, but a lot of times having a kind of sound that is not clean but not dirty, but can be both depending on your attack is extremely valuable. It's extremely versatile, and you also eliminate a lot of the tap dancing that you got to be doing in your pedal board or your multi effects, whatever you got there on your equipment. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that you are supposed to throw away every single instance of clean tone from your sounds, okay? Because clean tone can still sound very amazing, but it depends on how you dial it in, and it also depends on when you are using clean tone. Because on the first point, I see this a lot with, especially with new guitarists when they have, I don't know, Stratocasters or any guitar really, but Stratocasters are a little easier to get this bad sounding clean tone. They sound very thin and they sound bodiless, and that's what I call the broken acoustic kind of sound. So on that topic, if you want to learn how to dial in a good clean tone, I'm going to have videos of it up in the future. And if you want to learn more in depth, you can check out the description. It's going to have a link to my community and you can join. Now, after criticizing people who use clean tone and criticizing clean tone itself, let's take a look at what is the best sound for worship music. And that's going to be called Edge of Breakup. What is Edge of Breakup? Edge of Breakup is a kind of sound where you sound really clean. Not, I mean, it has a little bit of overdrive, a little bit of that bitiness to it when you are playing lightly. When you're not too rough on the strings, it sounds relatively clean. But when you are really rough on them, then it's going to sound overdriven. And that's what we want, because we want to have access to two completely different sounds without having to tap dance on our pedals, right? Who likes tap dancing? Oh, I stepped on the wrong foot switch. Now I got a super distortion on, you know? You want to avoid that kind of thing. And when you have this much control over the amount of gain you have just from your picking hand, it's extremely valuable, okay? So we're going to listen to what it sounds like. We're going to first listen to what a clean would sound like, and then a distorted, overdriven sound. And I want you to see how I'm not going to change anything on the preset, anything on the parameters. I'm only going to change my picking attack, and it's going to sound very different. Alright, so the last cool thing that we're going to look at here is gain stages, because building gain stages with this edge of breakup sound is ridiculously simple. Well, the easiest way to do that is just by boosting your volume. So you get the booster pedal, like a volume boost, mid boost, or whatever you want. Put it before the amp and boost the volume. That will get you some more overdrive, more saturation. The second way is to just add a overdrive pedal, like a tube screamer or something. That will also get you more of your overdrive. And if you want even more overdrive, maybe you don't even want to increase the gain on the pedal itself, but rather the volume. Because when you increase the volume of the pedal, it's not going to increase your overall volume, but higher volume will enter the amp and distort the amp even more, not the pedal. It's going to distort the amp even more. So that's some cool tricks that you can do to get more distortion from the amp rather than the pedal. And yeah, we're going to now see what those things will sound like. And after, we're going to see that in a practical example with a song. So let's check it out. This is the kind of sound that I'm using pretty much 90% of the time. I very rarely use any sort of clean tones, and if I do, it's going to be in a very specific situation, right? Maybe the band is playing some sort of groove, then you really do need a clean tone, but a good sounding one. But yeah, for worship music, this is the way. This is really the way. Because for worship music, you really want a at least slightly distorted guitar. It just sounds a lot better, and people really enjoy it. And once again, if you want to learn more in depth, you can check out the link in the description. Bye bye.